you want to know my opinion on what I think, just keep on watching. What's good? It's your girl Nisi here, and I'm back with another video. And I want to give a huge shout out to my new subscribers and my remaining ones. Thank you so much. I'm almost going to hit my 4,000 watch hours, so do please make sure your notification bell is on and that you're liking, watching and sharing my videos. And I want to give a quick update to a video that I did about like 5 months ago. So it was the women's only gym in London. So an update, I seen an article today where she's actually having to refund people that donated because she did like a GoFundMe because she was struggling to, get all the funds. Because in the beginning, she did say it's open to all women, natural born women, trans women, etc. Soon as she opens the gym, she's like, no, it's literally strictly only like women that were born a woman, no trans. And it's just like, because they specifically asked that question when she was doing her GoFundMe, and she was like, yeah, it's open to trans. And now she's got the funds and she's opened a gym. She's like, trans people can't. I was just like, nah. If you've not seen it, do check that video out, and I'll link it at the end of this one. It is a good one. But yeah, I'm glad that she's refunding. Like, it literally went to court. She should have just refunded people, you know what I mean, on her own will. But certain people took her to court, and yeah, that's what they ruled. But for today's video, I'm going to be talking about your favorite rap couple. Listen, I don't know about these two. I've done a video on them. They've both moved on, allegedly, but they've obviously not moved on. People are like Papoose. That's what we're calling him now. He's got the name Papoose. He's bitter, he's jealous, he wants Remy back. Remy's jealous, she's bitter, and it does feels like they want each other. And on top of that, their new partners resemble them. It's really weird. But yeah, if you don't know, I'm talking about Remy Ma and Papoose. They've both gone live and they're both like touching 50. It's just so weird hearing them both jump on live and go back and forth, and it's just like, Remy Ma's accusing Papoose of being broke. He ain't got no money. He pawned my jewelry. He ain't paid bills basically since she's been locked up, and that was like years ago. He's saying she been cheating on him. I don't even know what else he said about her. She's not a good mom. She just leaves their youngest child with a nanny. She's cut him off like he's not seen his daughter in a long time. Child. Oh yeah, and most importantly, that he's written 90% of her raps. Now, if you don't know, she did have that huge beef with Nicki Minaj, and when that Sheetha track came out, which was crazy, like she domed Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj did say, "Your husband wrote that sounded like Papoose." Listen, one thing about Papoose, I love him. Like, he's a freestyler, he's a really good rapper, but sadly enough, he never blew up like Remy Ma. When you think of Papoose and Remy Ma's the bigger star. Like, they both can rap in it. But sadly enough, I do feel like Papoose is the better rapper between them. And I feel like with this, they just need to do a versus battle. And this is what people are saying. One of them going live and then the other one clapping back. It's giving verses. Why don't you just write the bars, come hard, spit it all out? Like, I would rate them if they did that. You know what I mean? And at least that way they could make money off it as well. Like, come on. But yeah, I'm gonna roll the clip. Now, I don't know if this clip is real because with AI and all the editing, like, people can do stuff. But when I say the pettiness, I don't think Papoose is that petty compared to Remy. Remy is very petty. Like, there's so many memes of her and obviously 50 Cent. They're like my favorite memes of them both. But yeah, I'm gonna roll this clip and I will be back with my commentary.
Come on.
What's going on?
Woo!
Oh, I'm never posting nothing because people don't understand. When I type shit out and when I write shit, they don't understand. I am live as we speak. When I type things in, people don't understand. Turn that camera on, ugly, and tell your lies. Don't type your lies. Tell them. Speak while people talking to you. You reading comments, you can't keep up with them if you do that, right? I'll wait. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. Yesterday, I was laid up yesterday. Was I not laid up? Were we not laid up? Oh. What? Ew. I don't even like the cologne you wear. It's gross. Ew.
Guys, literally, when I say I can't stand this woman, I can't stand her. How could she be like, come on, nigga, like, ugly. I don't even like the cologne you wear. Listen, I feel sorry for that daughter because she's literally obviously caught up in the middle. Papoose, they're like a blended family. Remy had one son before they got together, and he had, I think, 3 kids, 2 girls and a son. And then they had a daughter together, and they sadly had a miscarriage. But how can her new guy be in the background? You know, like, yeah, we were laid up, da 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 da. And then how can Papoose have a picture of him and his new girl? Like, when I say this is messy, this is very messy. I don't know if that was real, cause yeah, but it's just the way she's like, come on live, like stop typing out the lies, come on live and say what you gotta say. Oh my gosh, it's just messy. They've obviously got each other's number, so it's just like, why are we bringing it to the internet? You know what I mean? She's got a lawyer. Apparently, Papoose ain't got no lawyer because he can't afford it. Oh yeah, that was one big statement she said. She said, she's been paying all the bills, and Papoose hasn't had a job like in decades. Now, no offense, like I said, he's an amazing rapper, but it does make me think like, what does he do? Because again, he doesn't drop albums. You know what I mean? Like with her, we know like how she makes her money. The only thing I can say is that maybe he's invested in stuff that we don't obviously know about. There's a lot of successful people who invest in stuff, but looking at them, you know what I mean? They might not have the 9 to 5 job, but because they invest in stocks and different things, they're making money. But yeah, once again, the TikTok streets are divided. Some are on Papoose's side and some are on Remy's side. And some who are like me, there's 3 sides to every story. There's Papoose's side, there's Remy Ma's, and in the middle there's the truth. I believe some of the stuff that Papoose is saying, and I believe some of the stuff that Remy Ma is saying. Do they want each other back? I feel like with Papoose, he held her down when she was locked up and he's invested a lot in her. As soon as she got out, they got onto Love and Hip Hop New York. I feel like he patterned that. And I feel like Remy Ma, she wanted him to be some type of way and he ended up not being that type of way. And I feel like she's vexed that he's moved on and he's with a 30-year-old. Listen, Papoose is knocking on 50 and he has a child that's like 28, that's touching 30. And I never understand men that get with women when they have kids around the same age. Like, you know what I mean? Now, don't get it twisted. Papoose looks good for his age. Like, I didn't know how old he was. But yeah. And even Remy, she's with a young guy. This is what I mean. I find it really funny that they're both with younger people. They look similar to them, but yeah, apparently both of the younger people are more successful. And it's so funny because no one rates Remy's new man. So they're like, I think he's called Captain the Blocker or something. Is that you're trying to tell us he makes more money than Papoose? Like, come on, he's a battle rapper, but I'm not in that world, so I don't know. And for Clarissa Shields, she's Olympic boxer. She's #1 in the world. So, her sponsors, we all know she's told up. But, Papoose, I think they're engaged. And obviously, she went on the Breakfast Club recently. I can't play none of their material because they're always striking us YouTubers. But, she's happy. She just wants to be left alone. But for me, he's still married. He's got multiple baby moms, multiple kids. Girl, you're young, free, and single, and you're winning. You need to find someone on your level. But she's in love, and she's like, he takes care of me. And you can tell the way she's speaking about him, you can just tell she's happy and in love. Listen, if you like it, I love it. But years later, I don't want you coming out, because Remy tried to warn you, you know what I mean? But yeah, let's get into some people's reactions.
I'm going to say it because everyone is already saying it. Papoose and Remy, take us out the group chat
Mm.
because don't
Yes,
nobody
take
care
us out
about
the
no
group chat.
old New York struggle love. Now, I don't know if you're fully aware, but Remy Ma and Papoose has had us in the group chat for about 24 to 48 hours. Now, it all started off when Remy Ma had accused Papoose of pawning one of her Cartier bracelets or necklaces. I don't. And then she proceeded to show the receipts of what looks like a pawn receipt of when the bracelet was supposed to be picked up and paid off. Now, Papoose came back swinging, and here's what he had to say.
Like I said, I have written 90% of the rhymes that came out of her mouth since I met her. Y'all said it. Y'all said it numerous times. Oh, we know that's Pep behind that pen. Did I ever agree with y'all? Did I ever put it out there? I never said I wrote her rhymes. I left it. I didn't need the credit. All I wanted her to do was win. Wrote the rhymes, did the contracts, security, the whole shit.
To actually side with a man because men are terrible, but I've always believed Papoose in this entire love triangle that they won't let us. Now, before you guys start forgetting history, remember, Papoose was the one who claimed that Remy Ma was the one who cheated on him. And even then, he waited a full year before he even revealed that he knew that she was cheating on him. And even after that, he still allowed the person who cheated with his wife, might I add, still his wife. If anybody's making that clear, that lady is still his wife, to write battle rap diss tracks about him, and he still said nothing. So I think it's awful strange that Remy Ma all of a sudden has flipped the narrative, and now she's talking about, oh, Papoose, he ain't got no money, he ain't got this. Now let's make this very clear. These two people are still married. Papoose has now made a claim that over 90% of the work that Remy Ma has produced and has benefited from handsomely is because of him. And to make matters worse for Remy Ma, Papoose goes on another live stream and states that not only did he write her raps, crazy work, he also has the emails that he would email himself of the raps dating 15 years. So when he would write them down, he would email them to himself so that way he could remember them and then they could kind of tweak them for Remy Ma. But he has them. He has the receipts. Now, in that divorce, if I were Papoose, I would ask for royalties. Him and Remy Ma are going to be getting divorced for about 25 years because I don't think he's going to go out without his money. But can you blame him? Because having your wife cheat on you with an underground battle rapper that's financially struggling is crazy work. And I wish that was the end, but it's not, because 4 minutes ago, Remy Ma had posted this in her story, and she said, if you just turned 30 and allegedly just met someone 8 months ago that is 47 years old, that I knew since I was 10 and was married to them since you were about 13, and he has 4 biological children, one age 28, but will be 29, one age 25, another 24, but will be 25 soon, and a 6-year-old baby, and currently promising you a newborn while agreeing to divorce 18 hours and 54 minutes. Hold on, I can't see this. And 3 seconds ago, please refrain from speaking to me. Now, I'm just going to assume this is for Clarissa Fields because Clarissa had taken to Threads, another app from IG, and she had made some statements like basically she's not afraid and Papoose is a good man and blase swaze. Now, again, I don't usually side with men, but I'm actually on the side of Papoose. So whatever Papoose wants, give it to him.
Listen, I agree with her. This New York struggle love, and shout out to my Yankees, my New Yorkers. I love you guys. I love the accent. I love the swag. Like I love everything about New York. But yeah, this ain't it. Like this struggle, New York love. These two rappers, like take us out the group chat again. Like I said, I've already done a video on these guys. I didn't think I'll be doing another one. Obviously, last time Remy didn't say too much. It was more Papoose, but now Remy again. They've both jumped on live, and both of their lives have been hella long. Like Remy's was like an hour, Papoose was probably like 45 minutes. Like, and it's just like y'all are too grown for this. I don't want to say, oh, y'all too grown for this. Like, what is going on? And just with all these black couples, like in Hollywood, we have the Halle Bailey versus DDG. Remy Ma versus Papoose, you have Tiana Taylor versus Iman Shumpert. Trying to think who else, but there's just been a lot of couples lately, and it's like, what is going on? You know what I mean? And none of the stories have just been like normal. They've been like very extreme. You have Sky Jackson and Yerky Yerky. She's put a restraining order. He tried to allegedly make her drink bleach while she was pregnant, and it's just like y'all are too beautiful, black, and successful for this BS. Like, what is going on? But yeah, again, I believe Papoose in some stuff, and I believe Remy in some stuff. But it's like she said, if he was broken all this such for a long time, and you were paying all this, why did you stay with him, even though you was away allegedly cheating on him? Because in his life, he said he caught her with a woman. Everything is alleged. But then a lot of people are like, all right, we hear that, but why did you stay? And all till now, she wants a divorce and he won't give her a divorce. Now, with that, if you know anything about both of you being successful, famous couple, let's use the Smiths. Jade and Will have not been intimate or been together for about 8 years. So obviously, a lot of people are like, why don't you just divorce? But they can't because they are a brand together. And I know with Papoose, he did this whole, black love, black excellence. So it made basically financially, it makes more sense for them to stay together. And this is why I don't get why Clarissa is with Papoose, because ain't no way I'm the world's number one boxer and I'm trying to, get engaged and I'm trying to move on and have kids and, a future with this man. But he's still married. Couldn't be me, but to each its own. Eventually, they obviously are going to get divorced because I think Papoose is finally filed. But again, I can just see that being messy. And let's just say he did write 90% of her rhymes or however many, 50%, whatever, 70. I hope in the divorce he does ask for royalty, rights and checks and things like that. Because if that's the case, fam, you owe this guy money. You know what I mean? Now he mentioned it that the raps he's wrote for her are in his emails. Now in that live, he didn't give us no receipts. So for going forward, Papoose, I'm not saying I don't believe you, but I'm gonna need some receipts. Remy Ma clapped back and was like, 90% of my rhymes. I wish he did. And on top of that, I wish he paid 90% of the bills. Listen, everything, he spoke on, she did clap back and she's just like, huh. I believe he probably did help her with stuff. And even he said, y'all knew that, with some songs she did, we were like, this sounds like Pap, because every rapper sounds a certain way. Like Eminem sounds a certain way, Jay-Z sounds a certain way. So some of the rhymes were sounding kind of like Pap, you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm gonna need to see some receipts, and I do believe in to an extent. I don't know about 90% because she can rap, but that was her husband at the time, and can he help her? Right? Yeah. At this point, everyone has a ghostwriter. It's like you just literally can't believe anyone. You know what I mean? But yeah.
I mean, why you talking about that man like that? That's not nice. When you were broke and you was in jail, was he broke? Who was putting money on your books? It's so sad when hurt people try to hurt people because you genuinely thought that he was going to allow you to cheat on him publicly and he was just going to forgive you and stay with you like he's some bum ass nigga. And the Clarissa lady genuinely seems like she is enjoying his company, loving him for who he is, or even just simply liking him for who he is. And you didn't think that he was going to move on. That's the problem. Even if he did pawn your jewelry, you don't have enough money to go get more. You shouldn't even want that back. Where's all that black love energy that you was given on your first season of Love and Hip Hop? That lady really went on live ranting like that. Please take her phone. And even if he was the brokest person you ever been with, why would you make a baby with him? So you trying to say your battle rapper boyfriend make more than Papoose? Why we couldn't just let the lawyers handle this? How did we get involved in this? What were we supposed to do with that information,
And
guys?
not her saying, oh, okay, let's say he pawned your jewelry. You shouldn't want that back. You're tailed up like that. Why don't you just go and buy a new one? Now, with that, sometimes certain jewelry have sentimental value, or let's just say it's a certain exclusive pair of earrings. You can't just go and buy another one because it was exclusive. That's the only thing I can say with that, because I've pawned some earrings back in the past. They were Chanel and they were exclusive, and I can't find them nowhere. I ended up sadly losing them and I can't find them nowhere. So that's the only excuse I've got with that. But I agree with what she said at the beginning. Like, this guy held you down, put money on your books. And you know what's mad? I remember an interview she did after she came out of Penn, and she was like, Papoose came up and saw me every single day, and she used to get tired of it. And I was just like, at the time, I was like, that's a bit rude. But at the same time, as much as us females love attention from our man, it's like it becomes suffocating. Like, can you imagine this guy coming up again? And the journeys weren't short. They were like 3 hours there and back. So he was dedicated. Like, when I say this man was head over heels in love with her, he was. You know what I mean? So I definitely agree with that. No matter with this, if he's broke, a cheater, narcissist, whatever, you can't say that man didn't hold you down. Like, you know what I mean? People have always said it's usually the other way around. It's usually the girl being a ride or die chick, but Papoose held her down and obviously looked after her son because she did have a son before she got locked up. But yeah, I agree with her. You know what I mean? A man's not gonna hold you down and you're gonna come out, cheat on him and do all that madness and think he's not eventually gonna move on. And that's what I mean. I think she's vexed that he's moved on and he's with basically a more successful woman than her, because Clarissa is number one right now in the world. You know what I mean? And the flying, like they're going to different places. You know what I mean? Like I feel like finally he's living his best life. You know what I mean? But yeah, I agree with some of the stuff she says. Like, you know what I mean? She made me laugh. Like, someone come and take her phone, because the way she's jumping on live, both of them, like, yous are too grown for this. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I love how she touched on, if he was such all these bad, like, negative things, why did you give him a baby? And I do remember with Love and Hip Hop, she was like, "This is the greatest thing I can give him." Like, when I say she didn't want another kid, she didn't want another kid. Like, she barely looked after her, the first one, because she got locked up. She did not want this youth. So with Papu saying that she hardly looks after her, I'm not surprised, because she had the baby for you. And this is what I mean. As women, never have kids, or never do anything, never move, never get a job for a man. You have to do it for yourself. Because when things like this, when things go left, you resent that baby, that job, moving. You know what I mean? If it's not 100% from yourself, don't do it.
I'm just going to say the quiet part out loud. Papoose is envious, jealous of Remy Ma, always has been. He basically used her as a meal ticket because his rap career failed. He's also using Clarissa Shields to break and humble Remy, and it's not working. It actually backfired terribly in his face. So now he's got to go to plan B because his ego is hurt. I'm just going to see it. Papoose, let's just acknowledge that he did not have the career that Nas and Jay-Z had. Maybe he feels that he should have. I think he's incredibly talented as a rapper. He's always been underground, mixtape, you know what I'm saying? That type of rapper. But even Remy was mainstream. She's bigger than Papoose. Let's really look at this for what it is. Add to that, he marrying Remy and being constantly reminded that he's not a better rapper than her, although he may help her write her rhymes. It's constantly put in his face that she's the better rapper than him. She went mainstream and he did not. So therefore, he has always felt emasculated standing next to Remy. And we have not seen behind closed doors, she might have, checked him several times, put him in check, and he didn't like that. He wants to feel like he's the man of the house. And add to that, if she's the breadwinner, he really feels emasculated. If she's paying for his veneers, his fake teeth, his jewelry, everything, he feels less than a man standing next to his wife, Remy. So he basically married her and trapped her with a baby he begged her to have. Remember y'all, she went through painful IVF treatments. This was not an easy pregnancy for Remy, but she did it. The man begged her to have a baby. Yeah, because he was plotting to lock her ass down and chop her down so that he could feel like a bigger man. But Remy was not having it. And let me tell y'all something. I'm not a Remy Ma fan. I don't like her. I don't care for her. I do believe she is also a narcissist. But I'm talking about his behavior in this video. I'm an advocate for domestic violence, the victims, and the victims of narcissistic abuse. I am a girl's girl before I am rooting for any man. I do believe that men are victims of abuse, but in this case, we are talking about how Papoose has been from day one plotting and planning to use Remy as a meal ticket to boost his career while chopping her down. She emasculates him. She makes him feel small. Yeah, he might have been there for her while she was in jail. Shit, I would too. If somebody was paying my rent and making my life comfortable from behind bars, what the fuck am I going to complain about? So yeah, it's going to look to the outside world. We think like he's a ride or die and all that. We don't even know that she's paying all the bills with her royalty checks from behind bars to make his life and his kids' life comfortable. The whole time he's fucking bitches while she's in prison. He's cheating. This is where I'm mad at Remy, because I would have came out of prison. I might love the dude, but I'm not marrying him knowing what I know. People sent her evidence of his cheating. you know. But again, they went with the black love thing, and they went on Love and Hip Hop with this whole black love persona, happy black couple. I guess VH1, they paid for the wedding, this lavish wedding, whatever. It was business, because nothing about that was love. And yes, Remy has a mouth on her. She can chop a nigga down and make him feel small. But Papoose knew who he was marrying before he married her. That's her New York Bronx persona. She don't hold back for nobody. So when he got her behind closed doors after marrying her and putting a baby in her and realized that she wasn't going to submit, then he went about trying to humble her. Papoose is a narcissist. Yes, Remy is too, but like I said, we talking about his behavior. He is a covert narcissist because, baby, he played that good guy, good husband role for a long time, and Remy sat back and said nothing about the abuse she was enduring behind closed doors. Papoose got fed up of being emasculated. Add to that his serial cheating and his gambling addiction. Remy said, listen, this ain't it. I love you, but you're not pulling in no money. I'm tired of taking care of your ass. You out here cheating. Why am I with you? Why are we even married? Why are we faking to the public? I will, let me go be happy with whoever I want to be happy with, and you go be happy. So what did Papoose do? I honestly believe because he felt like Remy stayed silent for so long to protect his image, he thought that he could get away with the cheating and at the same time humble her to get her to be submissive. That's where Clarissa Shields comes into play. Listen, y'all, I'm trying to give y'all a play-by-play of how a narcissist moves. When a narcissist cheats on his woman with a side chick, he's going to strategically choose a woman with very low self-esteem. Clarissa Shields is a huge pick-me. Despite her being a very good boxer, very successful boxer, as an individual, she has low self-esteem. Y'all could tell she just does not think much of herself. Papoose targeted her. I think she's perfect for him in terms of grooming. He's absolutely groomed her. And now he's tapped into her finances. And what he thought he was going to do with Clarissa is pit her against Remy to get Remy to fight over him. He found a young, dumb woman who could fight and box, and someone who's not scared of Remy. And he actually tried to set up he facilitated this cat fight between these two women. And he thought Remy would fall for the bait. Remy does not want to fight Clarissa Shields because Remy could pull out a pistol and pew pew. That's how Remy solves her problems. And since Remy is out of prison, she's trying to stay away from people that put her in those types of situations, including her husband. Any man that pits you against another woman does not love you. Papoose does not love Remy because ain't no fucking way you would cheat on her with a woman. Papoose wants Remy to fight over him. And he chose Clarissa because Clarissa is not scared of Remy in terms of, fighting. Clarissa can fight. So I'm sure in the back of his mind, he saw Remy and Clarissa fist fighting in the streets and Remy losing. He wants to see Remy get beat up and Remy run back to him and say, oh, honey, let's get back together again. I'm so sorry. I don't want this side chick to have you. That's what he was thinking. And Remy said, fuck you. The bitch could have you. It backfired so bad in Pap's face. And Remy at this point is tired of being silent. She's been silent. We got to remember, y'all calling her bitter. No, she stayed silent to protect his reputation and character for years. She wanted to quietly divorce him with no drama. But he and Clarissa kept poking and poking and poking and doing these interviews and clout chasing. And like Remy said, he's enjoying the perks of being the husband of Remy Ma, getting first class seating and, invites and shit off of Remy's name. Clarissa and him are benefiting off of Remy. They are. Remy's tired. Sign them goddamn divorce papers, nigga, because you tried to use Clarissa to make me jealous and make me want to fight, and it backfired. I don't want to fight. I actually feel sorry for this Clarissa. She's young, she's dumb, she's gullible, and she's got to learn the hard way that she got with a fucking womanizer and a user. Papoose is a user. He's a leech. If anybody knows this man inside and out, is Remy. She's been with him for the last 20 years. And Clarissa should take heed and listen to Remy, but she's not because she's in competition with Remy. Remy wants out. Sign the divorce papers, but I guarantee you, we're about to watch Papoose drag his feet because he does not. If he signs the papers, he loses all control of Remy, other than their child that they co-parent with. He's going to be upset. He does not want to lose control of Remy because he failed as a rapper. His rap career failed. Remy is his biggest accomplishment. Watch what I tell y'all. And he's going to get Clarissa pregnant and dog her even worse than Remy.
Listen, shout out to that woman, and I literally pretty much agree with everything. I know that was a long clip, but not the meal ticket, first of all. But yeah, the fact that they're both rappers, I'm trying to think. All right, let's use Nas and Khalees because she did mention Nas. Like again, like she said, Papoose never blew up, even though he's really talented. He never blew up like a Jay-Z or Nas. And even when people mention their top five, Papoose never gets mentioned. You get. So yeah, let's use Khalees and Nas. Obviously, Khalees was more of a singer, but she could like she dabbled in rap or whatever. They both were successful, you know what I mean? And it's funny because there was a picture trending the other day of Khalees and Nas, and someone commented underneath on Twitter like, "Oh my gosh, I wish you guys would get back together. I loved you as a couple." And Khalees kindly went underneath that person was like, "It was all fake." And it's just like I did. I loved them as a couple, but yeah. But I agree with her. You know, when they were on the red carpet, people would shout, Remy, Remy. Like, no one was shouting Papoose. And this is why sometimes your significant other can be jealous of you. Again, Halle Bailey, DDG. When she was on the red carpet for Little Mermaid and all these, like, what's that other film she did afterwards? I'll have to put the picture there. I can't remember the musical. Can't remember, but yeah. Obviously, when DDG was on the red carpets, no one was shouting DDG. Everyone was like, Halle, turn this way. Da, da, da." People want to run up and interview her. And even though he's got his own, fans, fame, hers is on another level. So I agree with what she said with that. That Papoose was obviously feeling some type of way, and not her saying that Remy like emasculated him. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but I agree. Remy is a tough woman. She comes from the Bronx, and just a lot of black women as a whole, we're not very submissive. So, in the relationship, Remy wore the trousers. Like, Papoose wasn't telling her what to do. I don't know if Papoose has ever been to jail, but hello? Like, and even with Clarissa now, that's why they're saying a lot of people are saying, "Rah, Papoose, you've got a type. Like, you don't like those submissive, feminine. He likes his women tough." And I like that she touched on Clarissa's like self-esteem, even though he might like her, like they've been going to the same boxing gym for years. But I like that she touched on that. Like, no offense, if you have a line of women, men are not chasing like running to Clarissa in it. So again, or maybe even where she comes from the hood, she wouldn't have been the first choice. So she probably has a little bit of low self-esteem. Now, when it comes to her trade, her boxing, she's confident, she'll smoke anyone. Like, she's super highly confident. But when it does come to her looks, because she just turned 30 recently, she did a whole photo shoot. And some of the looks, people were like, "Nah, this ain't it." And she did clap back and was going off. So you can see people tapped into her insecurities. So I definitely agree with that. Because again, you're touching fifth there. She's just turned 30. Like, what do you have in common? You know what I mean? But like I said, her clip was long and she touched on some real stuff. I like that she touched on that. She's like, listen, I am not a fan of Remy, but I'm calling it what it is. I agree with her. Yous are both narcissists. Yous are both just as bad as each other. But at the same time, she's a girl's girl, like she mentioned, and she's going to keep it 100. And she's like, Papoose is the one in the wrong. And I agree. Allegedly, Remy said when she was locked up, Papoose was cheating, creeping with one of his baby moms and other women. I'll be surprised. You know what I mean? But you still stayed. Years later, she got her lick back. She started creeping. He outed her about that, but you still stayed. So this relationship has been broken a very long time. Like, I don't know if it was broke. Well, it was broke obviously before they had the baby, but they did mention that they did seek counseling and therapy. But I just feel like once she's both cheated, like just let it go. Like, you obviously don't want to be with each other. But yeah, shout out to her. She made some really good points.
Gonna just be honest and keep it real. Remy Ma is bitter, and I'm not going back and forth with nobody. Remy is hurt, okay? First of all, Remy Ma and Papoose became big because of Papoose loyalty to Remy Ma. They went on Love and Hip Hop, and Love and Hip Hop, she thought she was too good for it or whatever, you know what I'm saying? She ain't finished the season. Okay, cool. But I never heard nobody say, put on that Remy Ma, okay? If it wasn't for Fat Joe keeping her afloat, where would she be at? Y'all gotta stop. This one right here, when they say put your foot in your mouth, she put her foot in her mouth, okay? You thought that Papoose was never gonna come up off of you. He was gonna stay loyal to you. Because let's be real, it was his love and his loyalty to her that put them on the map. For real, okay? This man started that black excellence. It was him. And you went out here, you was cheating. You thought that that boy that you was going to be with, you was going to have him on the side and still have Papoose. And it's not. It wasn't going to work, okay? Now that this man have moved on and you stuck with who you want to, and let's be real, if y'all ever pay attention, she's not happy with that man she's with. You mad because Papoose is now loving Clarissa out loud. It's like every time Clarissa got something going on, here she come. Had Clarissa not went on that Angela Yee and did that interview, Remy Ma would have never said nothing. Remy Ma had every opportunity to say something. But when it comes down to them, she always gotta be the entitled. Like, she gotta be the attention. Remy Ma is not trending, okay? Nobody is thinking about Remy Ma. Come on now. Nobody thinking about her. You're mad because now here it is, the shine is on another black queen. And the man that you once loved is now loving on her. Let that man love her out loud. Stop getting on here being bitter and mad. Because if you were so happy with your man, what you said yesterday, what she said, she would have never let come out her mouth. I don't give a hell how much I'm in love with my man. I'm not discussing another man while he round with him. And then you have to come on here and say, when we laid up yesterday, girl, no, you wasn't. I believe, Papoose, you was on his phone. You was beating his phone down because you think that video going viral with him supporting his woman and you not getting that attention and affection from your man. So you hurt. Then you keeping a baby. You know that man love his daughter.
Yeah, so we all know whose side she's on, but she did make some good points. It's true. In 2025, no one's like pulling at Remy Ma. You know what I mean? And I didn't know that whole thing with Love and Hip Hop that, she thought she was too good and she didn't even finish the season. But they did get their own spin off show, Meet the Mackies, and I did watch that and I enjoyed that, you know what I mean? But I do agree with what she said, the whole black love, a lot of black people, black couples, and youngers were tuning in with that, We rated that Papoose held her down while she was locked up. Like, we love that, you know what I mean? People would always throw shots like, oh, the whole Nicki Minaj line, like, what did she say? You left your stun, like, you know what I mean? Something over a stack. I don't know it for word, bar for bar, but yeah. Shout out to Fat Joe. He defo kept her alive. Their features, they always go off. Like, they need to do a whole album together because anytime they link up and they do a feature, it slaps. Most of the time, it goes number one. You know what I mean? But yeah, I agree to a extent. You know what I mean? And like she said, Remy Ma's not trending, but soon as like Clarissa and Papoose are doing something, here comes Remy. Yeah, there's some truth to that. If I look at everything, even the last time when I did a video on it, it's because, you know what I mean? Clarissa was just like, listen, I'll beat Remy. If I see Remy, I'll beat her up. Da, 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 da. And Remy has stated she don't want to fight. Like, you're younger to her. Like, she don't want to fight you. And then obviously here comes the joke. People are like, listen, Clarissa, you'll be up there with your boxing glove and Remy will be there with the GUN. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, to an extent, I agree with what she said, but not fully. Because again, I do think Remy is telling the truth about certain stuff, you know what I mean? Like, Papoose is not perfect. No one is perfect, you get me? But yeah.
Yep. Whatever Remy said on that live today about Papoose, I believe everything Remy said about what she said about Papoose. And I believe that if they keep talking, Papoose and Miss Shields, if they keep talking, she is going to really spill it on a timeline and really show the receipts. I think Papoose takes advantage of the fact that Remy does not speak publicly about her personal life. She's a respondent. If you speak on her, she'll speak back. Not just with Papoose. She has done it over the course of the times. Like, when Miss Hustle has said stuff, Remy has not said anything back. Miss Hustle being the battle rapper. She just does not speak publicly. And I think that we know something. We think because we think that Remy cheated first or whatever. I think they was long separated. They've been long separated. There's a song by Papoose called Narcissist that he made back in 2021 or 2022 that sounds like he was talking about Remy Ma. He has referred currently to Remy Ma as a narcissist. So I think that there was like chinks in the armor back then. So I feel like we think that we know that Remy stepped out, with Easy the Block Captain, even though she never made that public. It became public and fodder because Papoose became physical with the man, right? But what was known and what was supposed to be the case then? They were separated. He was doing his thing, she was doing his, and we know that with a lot of women, anything, they can do it, but what Lady London said, he gonna trick, but I'm gonna trick harder. You know what I'm saying? And we already know that, you do one thing to a man, they gonna fall out and pass out. Whereas men, get away with a lot of stuff. And we believe because Papoose held her down while she was in prison, that he's held to some pedestal just because of that. This was years ago. You know what I'm saying? I think she has been out of jail for like damn near 10 years now. Over the course of 10 years, marriages can dissolve. They're becoming different people. She's evolving. He's evolving or devolve, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe they're not evolving. They're, regressing. I don't know. But people change. She doesn't have to be indebted to him all her life just because he held her down. And held her down in what context? And this is no shade toward Papoose. He didn't hold her down like Keisha Kayor held down Gucci Mane. You know what I'm saying? He held her down like, okay, I came to visit you, which is honorable. I do not want to take away from anything Papoose did. I do not. That's not what I'm saying here. Shout out to Papoose and any man who is going to see their loved one, especially when they're females, behind those steel gates, because we know that women, especially black women, do not get a lot of visitors. You know why? When they get incarcerated, it's not the same thing as when our black men get incarcerated and we go visit them. So shout out to Pat for holding that down, going to see her. Right? At the same time, you wasn't making money. You know what I'm saying? You wasn't making money. You didn't quadruple. You didn't, triple up, her wealth. You didn't do any of that. So that's what Keisha Kayor did. That's why Gucci Mane was like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm gonna stick beside her. Remy Ma had to come out of prison and really start from the bottom now, whatever, literally, right? All the way up. And so and hold down and that aspect, what's holding down. But then again, stuff changes. And according to Remy, what she said today, she was like, this Papoose that's right now is not the Papoose that I know. You know what I mean? And there has been talk of gambling. There has been talk of money issues. There has been talk of, her paying for everything and everything else. And so, I think we have to be mindful that what goes on behind closed doors is what goes on behind closed doors, and we don't always know the ABC of something. And I know people are saying, "Oh, Remy, she's punching the air. She just mad that." I don't think that. I don't get the sense that Remy Ma wants to be with Papoose. I don't get the sense that Remy Ma is jealous. I think she sincerely thinks that Papoose, her and Papoose is a rap. Like she prefers to her and pawn Poose today because he sold her jewelry or whatever and pawned it for money. She said that he doesn't have a job, that she's been taking care of the daughter because he doesn't have any income coming like that, and whatever, he ran up her credit card. She ain't asking for that. She paid it off. She just asked. She's the one who signed the papers, has the lawyer, retained the lawyer, whatever. She's just waiting on him. He's making excuses saying that, I'm out of the country, can't do this, can't do that. She has been quiet. I think he banks on that. I think he relies on the fact, like I said, that Remy Ma is quiet and has this code of ethics or the street code or whatever where you don't talk. But people have a boiling point and a breaking point. And I think Remy has met hers. She literally said from 2025, from now on, anytime they have something to say about her, she's going to come back and she's going to refute it and she's going to show the receipts. And I think that when you push people, especially public people, celebrities, people in the public eye, I think they have the right to respond. I know you guys don't like that because you guys like to form your own narrative. Papoose is a good man. Papoose is that. Y'all don't know Papoose. Y'all don't know what kind of man he is behind closed doors. And just because Remy presents as bullyish or whatever, she may be the sweetest person behind closed doors, right? Aren't y'all saying the same thing about Halle Bailey that, she, seems sweet and innocent, but maybe she's not? I don't know. But rather, whatever's the truth, we need facts. Just because Remy seems like she's a bully to us doesn't mean that's how she is in her home. Doesn't mean, because I also see her get all like Martha Stewart, right? She calls herself, what was your Rem Stewart, or well, I forgot what she says, Reminisce Stewart or whatever. But we see that she cooks at home, she's domestic, etc., etc. So we don't know people's persona really until facts come out and documents come out and everything else. So how can we blame? How do we know that marriage wasn't dissolved? And then Papoose happened to make it public because he had a public spectacle where he tried to fight Easy the Block Captain. And so we just don't know. Remy really doesn't talk to the public, and I admired at her about her, but I'd be like, oh girl, sometimes just talk. You know what I'm saying? Like refute this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? The supporter of me and her or whatever wants her to be like, girl, refute this shit, because we know how some men can be. We know how, listen, I've seen had my share of too many people that present one way and are totally different than what they present. Totally different. And right now, I'm talking about on the man front. Oh, he's such a good man, such a good man. Okay, he may or may not be. He may or may not be. Or he may have been. Papoose may have been a good man. Maybe he's not now. Money changes people. Did money change him? Right? Now that he has the money, because, he doesn't get enough of showing his Rolls Royce in the stories. And to me, that's very off-brand for Papoose. I'm not used to Papoose being so showy. Like, he had his chains or whatever, but here recently he just seems to be so, look at me, I'm Sandra D. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's just, I've seen a difference on the outside as a big fan of Papoose. Papoose from Brooklyn. Shout out to Brooklyn, big fan of Papoose. I've noticed differences. I've seen differences, right? So maybe in the marriage, the same differences that I'm seeing is what Remy saw or has been seeing too. And she stated that, right? We don't know everything. But when you are a person who doesn't address everything and the narrative takes on its own wings and it gets legs and it takes on its own story, we don't know all that is to know. But I'm not mad. Remy, keep on coming back and refuting whatever it is. Who cares, right? People gonna like that you do it. Some people gonna hate that you do it. Some people gonna be like, oh, you bothered or whatever. I don't think Remy Ma is unbothered. What do y'all think?
Yeah, shout out to that woman. She made some really good points. Not mentioning Keisha K.O. and Gucci Mane, but he didn't do all that. Like, yeah, he stuck beside her. We love that. But like she said, she's like, Remy's not in debt with him for the rest of her life. Like, he chose to do that. And allegedly, he was playing away, so he wasn't 100% there for Remy. You know what I mean? But yeah, she just made some really good points. Like she said, she mentioned Halle Bailey. We don't know these people in real life. You know what I mean? So I like that she touched on that. Halle Bailey could be the worst person in the world. You know what I mean? She could have been swinging on GGD, but she had the evidence, and that's how she was granted sole custody of Halo, and she got that restraining order. Same with Papoose. Remy's painting a different picture of him. It could be true. Listen, I've recently gone through a breakup, and if I was to tell people what I've been through, they wouldn't believe me of that guy because, again, when we're in public, they see a different side to him that I see. So to an extent, I do believe Remy, but at the same time, I do believe Papoose. You know what I mean? But they're saying not everything that glitter is gold. Like, so yeah. But no, she made some really good points, and I agree.
Are you dumb? I don't care if she can box, okay? Like, you were mine first. Don't have me show the receipts either. With them new teeth I bought you. I got the receipt, okay? Hey, yo, mama, put it to you like this, B. You know what happened? I got the condo right next to the jail when you went to the other jail. When you went to the jail, you know what I mean? I got a condo so I can see you every day. I was holding you down. Don't nobody even want Pap. Pap, you can come and get either. With them new teeth I bought you. I got the receipt, okay? Hey, yo, mama, put it to you like this, B. You know what happened? I got the condo right next to the jail when you went to the other jail. When you went to the jail, you know what I mean? I got a condo so I can see you every day. I was holding you down. Don't nobody even want Pap. Pap, you can come and get your clothes too. I got your clothes. And to keep it a being with you, I should have left after the 7th time you cheat on me. But nah, I was a real one. You know what I mean? You should have been came and got your clothes, Pap. And by the way, you know all them rhymes that you was kicking was quite bootylicious? That was all me, man. I wrote all them rhymes. I wrote 99% of your raps, B. So we're talking about something. You wrote my rap. What? I wrote some of it, though. Are you dumb? I'll freestyle right now. Yeah, I got conceited. I got a no, don't play with me. Then you got the shorty that you did time with. Y'all in the same bed with my daughter, sizzling. Like, y'all ain't even invite me into the joint. You know what I mean? I could have smashed both. Do you want to fight, though? Okay, who want to fight, though? Do you want to fight? Do you want to fight, though? But don't play with me, okay? Pat, before I expose what really happened. If I go to my phone right now and type in any of the words that you said in your rap, the whole rap will come up, B. Okay, y'all like a little fat butt. That was all me. If you want, you can see me. Clarissa, shoot 'em up, bang, bang, bang. I ain't gonna fight, okay? We can handle this like grown women, or we can handle this however you want to handle this outside of the ring, because you're not supposed to be hitting people, because you. Do you want to fight, though? Oh, all right. Miraculous, phenomenal. I wrote that, B. And your little toy, you know what I mean? He want a battle rap. That's why I snuffed him, son. Knocked him out, B. I knocked him out. You don't shake a man's hand and then bang his wife. I had to come get him, me. Pat, you're broke. Brokey. I should say brokey. We all know you broke, okay? I walked in, you got the shorty and my baby in the bed. You know what I mean? You didn't even invite me. I'm trying to get intimate. You know what I mean? So what? You held me down for all them years that I was in prison. So what? You was coming to visit me every day. You don't even talk to your family. Don't nobody rock with you like that. See, that's the problem. You think everybody like you, but they really like me. Your whole family was just on my line, B. And I'm gonna tell you, and no, don't try and call me now. Now everybody want to call. Now everybody, hello, I'm on the. Huh? Oh, no, yeah, no, no, I wasn't even. I thought you was about to call me and tell me to get off the live, cause I'm snapping right now. Yeah, I knocked him out, and you was trying to get with me too. The other day, you trying to spin the block. You trying to spin the block, cause you done with easy to block, and I'm gonna knock this block off. Hey, yo, man, stop playing with me out here, man. This Pat, man.
Guys, he was so on point. Like, don't even nobody want Pat. Like, I can't stand his cologne. Like, he broke. He don't pay no. Shout out to my Yankees, my New Yorkers. I love the accent. Oh my gosh, I love the swag. Like, I just love how tough and gutter and how rough he's. Oh, I love it. But yeah, listen, with TikTok and even on YouTube Shorts, even me, when I'm trying to play different characters, it's not easy. Like, when you've got to do the editing. I know with him, when he was doing Papoose, he threw on the cap. And then when he was doing Remy, he had a little pony. Shout out to him. That was such a funny clip and facts. Like, this is how they're acting. Each of them are coming on live or doing interviews, and this is how they're going on. And he had the accents and the persona down to a T. But yeah, man, this is how they're looking. They're out here looking crazy. Like, it's just a clap back. It's giving table tennis, going back and forth. These both need to go and sit down, write some rhymes, and come back and spill all the tea and keep it pushing and get a divorce.
How many times I'm gonna tell y'all a man I act like he hate his ex to make you feel secure about your position? I don't know if y'all was on Remy live, but Remy was just live on Instagram and she basically was saying she's so sick of Papoose and his little muppet puppet or whatever the girl thinks she is, because she's tired of letting them paint this narrative of her that she just bitter and mad and angry. She don't understand why the girl mad, which I don't either. I personally wouldn't even be fooling around with a man who ain't divorced from his wife anyways. Now she goes to pull up receipts of Papoose and his little muppet puppet or whatever the girl thinks she is, because she's tired of letting them paint this narrative of her that she just bitter and mad and angry. She don't understand why the girl mad, which I don't either. I personally wouldn't even be fooling around with a man who ain't divorced from his wife anyways. Now she goes to pull up receipts basically showing, y'all know Papoose was just in Africa. He said, well, the girlfriend said she couldn't go because something about shots. Like, she wasn't update with her shots. That's why she couldn't go. This and that to the third. Papoose still on Remy healthcare. Girl, Remy said she paid for that man's teeth and all. But he's still on her healthcare the whole time. Shots ain't had nothing to do with it. He was in Africa calling Remy, basically saying, like, you know, trying to talk and be friendly, like trying to get conversation out of her. And this just crazy to me because that girl, the new girlfriend, be popping it, but she gotta realize she 10 times younger than Pap. Him and Remy got history, and men always lie, act like they hate their ex,
in order for you to be the duck that they want you to be while you going through what you're going through. Whole time, Remy said Pap don't even want a divorce. Are y'all up to date with this? Let's talk about this in the comments.
Thank you. I've been waiting for someone to mention this. If you know anything about true narcissists and men that move on, they're like, oh yeah, my baby, especially when it's a baby moms, she better, she wants to be back with me. When they talk down about their baby mom, that is a red flag. Run. I remember my friend, she was going out with an older guy and he had a child, one child, but he wasn't allowed to see the child. And obviously he gave him that same dance and story. She won't let me see him, blah, 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 blah. 2 years later into the relationship, he was a serial cheater, and it's just like, imagine she spoke to his baby mom. Maybe she could have gave her the heads up. And that's what Remy's done. Remy's given Clarissa the heads up. If she takes it, she takes it. If she doesn't, it's on her. But definitely, a man that speaks bad about his ex-wife or baby moms is a red flag. Run. Like, you want them to speak highly, and the saying goes, the way a man treats his mom is most likely how he's gonna treat you. So I definitely agree with that. And yeah, Papoose was out in Africa. Shout out to him. I think he was in Ghana, and he's got some land and some stuff going on out there. But the fact that Clarissa couldn't attend with him, but then he's on Remy's health and travel insurance. Like, what? And then, like she said, he was ringing up Remy. Listen, I've been there. When your ex or your baby father rings you up and they're like, oh, so what you doing or what you wearing? And it's just like, it's such a turn off. It's like, bro, go away. You've moved on. I've moved on. Like, what are you doing at this point? So I love that she touched on that. And it's straight facts. Yeah, that's a red flag for me. So even though I'm in a dating scene now, if a guy I'm dating is talking negative, talking down about his baby mums or his ex, you're not seeing me again. It could be true what he's saying, but there's a way to talk about someone that's hurt you or cheated on you or used to abuse you. There's a way to talk about it instead of. But I agree with her and I'm glad that she touched on it. But yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think Remy is jealous of Papoose and his new woman and their relationship, and that he's, they're moving on in life and they're doing well? Or do you think Papoose is jealous that Remy cheated and left him for this lame? That's not my terms, that's his, because in his life he was referring to him as Mr. Lame. And it's funny how he beat him up. Obviously, people are like, oh, Papoose, you beat him up because you were jealous. He's like, no, I beat him up because he shook my hand even though he was smashing my wife. Like, that title is mad. But this is what I mean, Papoose is a hood guy and it's about the principle. So yeah, he deserved to get smacked up. But yeah, please like, comment, and subscribe and share this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and make sure the notification bell is on. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.